ìròyìn tó tẹ̀ mí lọ́wọ́ ń yàjó òun náà ni pé wọ́n ti rescue Madam Rabi Abubakar. Ṣé mọ̀ pé wọ́n ti yọ̀ǹda òkú ẹ̀ bó wọ́n ṣe yọ̀ǹda òkú ẹ̀ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ béèrè ń bẹ tó yẹ ká béèrè lọ́wọ́ àwọn olórí wa àìrí wọn béèrè lọ́wọ́ wọn èrí tán bá ti yọ́lé wa lọ́wọ́ náà lámọ̀ rún lẹ́nu ìgbín wa ò rí mi jẹ mọ́tọ́ àwa rọ́gbọ́n ẹ̀dá ẹni àríkà mọ́ lójú ta la rí tàbí. So báwo ni wọ́n ṣe rí wúmà yẹn gbà àkọ́kọ́ ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì bó wọ́n ṣe yọ̀ǹda òkúta wọn gbòkù fún bó náà ṣe mọ̀ gbọ́n gbòkù síbẹ̀ tíjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Katsina fi sọ wípé àwọn ti rókù Major General Rabi Abubakar. Alright, pápápá ṣàgbàgbé àwọn ajínigbé tó jí àbúrò Adelabu pẹ́ńkẹ́lẹ́ ooo pẹ́ńkẹ́lẹ́ Adelabu pẹ́ńkẹ́lẹ́ mẹ́sì mọ̀ bọ́yẹ mọ̀tàn Adelabu pẹ̀kúlẹ̀ mẹ́sì gangan. I love that man. Olóṣèlú kan tó mi Awólọ́wọ̀ Awólọ́wọ̀ sí lágbára tó ṣèkì Awólọ́wọ̀ àtẹgbẹ́ Action Group tìpìlẹ̀. So mo like ìtàn bàbá yẹn. Now pápápá ẹjá kọ́kọ́ lọ sí breaking news. Good evening sir, good evening ma. Ẹjá kọ́kọ́ lọ sí breaking news. Troops rescue wife of late General Rabi Abubakar in Katsina. Ìròyìn ìrọ̀lẹ́ ìmálẹ́rùn. Kí mo wí mo wá ní mo rẹ́jẹ̀ lára ẹ̀. Bọ́n ṣe gbé ọ̀nà fún ní first aid. Kọ́lọ́n bá wa dóòlà rẹ̀. Mímọ̀ pé kò ìpẹta lójú rẹ̀ kò nípa lágbára Ọlọ́run. Ọlọ́run ó dóòlà rẹ̀, Ọlọ́run rescue ẹ̀. Nigeria Army troops Operation Fansanyama have rescued Mrs. Abubakar, wife of retired Major General Rabi Abubakar. Níbo làwọn operation yìí wà láti ẹjọ́ yìí? Àbí tí wọ́n fẹ́ ta ni? Tán ti jí ọmọ ogun gbé láti oṣù tó lọ. Ejò bù sán nínú igbó. Àrí Operation Fansanyama, Operation Yamayama, Operation Fansanyama. They were nowhere to be found until tí màá yẹn tó kú. Wọ́n lè bọ́nu igbó. Wọ́n mọ̀ ọ̀nà ibi tí wọ́n ti jí gbé. Wọ́n dẹ̀ gbábẹ́ lọ. Títí tí màá yẹn fi dákẹ́. A rí fídíò póúnjẹ ìrora nílẹ̀ ẹlẹ̀. A rí fídíò pé ìyàwó ẹ̀ ń bẹ̀bẹ̀ pé kíjọba dákun dábọ̀ kí wọ́n dáhùn sí ìbéèrè àwọn ajínigbé. Ìjọba lòun ò lè tẹ̀ síbi tẹ́nìkan ó ti mọ kọ̀máǹdì òun pé dandan báyìí ni kóun ó ṣe, and we understand government. Ẹni ìjọba tí bá ń tẹ̀ síbi táwọn ajínigbé ń tẹ̀ sí, irú ìjọba bẹ́ẹ̀ weak, irú ìjọba bẹ́ẹ̀ ń encourage àwọn ajínigbé bí Buhari ṣe encourage wọn títí tán fi bọ́n mọ́ wa lọ́wọ́ nìyẹn. À ń láti wá gbòdẹ́kùn fún wá ṣe wá sórí ọmọ tọ́wọ́. Ọlọ́run ò fẹ́rọ́ ayé òfódodo ọ̀rọ̀ pé mẹ́ta. Àwọn ẹbí àwọn tí ń bẹ nínú igbó tí ń bẹ lọ́wọ́ ajínigbé ẹ̀rù ọmọ bá wọn ò fẹ́ pàdánù ẹbí wọn. Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ kán pàdánù ẹbí wọn o. Ṣùgbọ́n Yorùbá lọ wọ́n bọ̀ wọ́n ní àárín àǹṣubú ṣeré. Ábìlì ń tàṣe ká dọ̀bálẹ̀ ká kànà ẹni. Ikú ń bẹ nílé, ikú ń bẹ lóko. Ikú ń bẹ lẹ́sẹ̀ kùkọ́ ń bẹ lọ́nà jíjìn. Kò sẹ́ni tí ò ní kú tó kú bá bá rí ò ní dìgbòrò. Ikú pa abiri abiri lọ, ó pa abiri abiri rọ̀run. Igi dá lóko, ọ̀pọ̀ ọmọ alára méje. Ajérò ó fi bẹ̀rù bojo káwọn ọmọ tiẹ̀ mẹ́fà jù sí ẹ̀wò. Àjájìn ọ̀pọ̀ ọmọ ajérò mẹ́fẹ̀ẹ̀fà sọnù. àṣé kò síbi tí kò kì í ti pa ni. ẹ ń lásídẹ́ǹtì ó lè kú, ẹ ń jábọ́ lórí ilé ó lè kú, ẹ ń jóná mọ́lé ó lè kú, ẹ ń bọ́ omi ó lè kú. ǹtìrá gbá bọ́ọ̀lù tó gbá bọ́ọ̀lù sínú àwọn tó sì ní kó wọ́n sọ masọ́ọ̀tì tó jẹ́ pé ṣe lóhun ń ta ṣúgà. òkìsì tán máa ń ta sẹ́yìn o pọnlá náà lọ́ta tó fọrùn lọ́lẹ̀ ó sì kú bẹ̀ sórí fíìdì ńbẹ̀ ayọ̀ dínkù fún un. eléyìí ò sọ wípé ká pàdánù àwọn èèyàn wa ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ kẹ́ni tiwa kọ́lọ́run fi wọ́n ṣètùtù. Major General yìí lára ètùtù orílẹ̀-èdè yìí ni. Either directly or indirectly. àwọn ajínigbé tó gbé àwọn náà ò ní dúró tòsí ibẹ̀ mọ́ ṣùgbọ́n ṣé wọ́n lọ. wọ́n mọ̀ pé àwọn sọ́jà ń bọ̀ wọ́n yìnbọn fún ìyàwó ẹ̀ kan tó máa lọ. àwọn èèyàn yẹn ṣe dájú tó bẹ́ẹ̀. So they cannot leave her free pé ókè o ọwọ́ wa náà lọ́kọ rẹ̀ kú sí o opó ni ẹjẹ́ àyọ̀ǹda ẹ̀kọ́ máa lọ láyọ̀ àtàláfíà. irú àwọn èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ làwọn sọ́jà tó ń rí tí wọ́n tún dálẹ̀ kọ́lọ́mọjà ṣòfò lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà. Because to the best of my understanding ẹ gbúrò ìbọn pé wọ́n yìnbọn fún kò pẹ́ tán yìnbọn fún lẹ débẹ̀. To the best of my understanding ó yẹ kí nínú yóò pursue àwọn ajínigbé ọ̀hún. ó yẹ ká rí fídíò òkú tiwọn náà. eléyìí la fi gbóríyìn fún ẹni tẹ́lẹ̀ lọ gbà kalẹ̀ iná ìnira lọ́wọ́ o. ṣé wúmà yẹn ti jagun rí sọmọ bóró ò bá ṣe rí lára ṣe lè rí gbédélé ṣe ti rí gbédélé ẹ fún first aid. ṣe ti mọ̀ pé nǹkan ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ́nà lọ́jẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ gbé first aid dání. àbí bá a ṣe ń yọ só la ṣe ń yọ ọgbọ́n ni. because ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ béèrè ni máa wá sọ́kàn wa ṣùgbọ́n tá à kí ń rí èèyàn béèrè lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. rescue ẹ̀ pẹ̀lú àpá àbọn àwọn tó yìnbọn fún ẹ̀rí wọn yìí ń mọ. To the best of my understanding tí wúmà yẹn bá fẹ́ fún wa ní account ó yẹ kó jẹ́ kó yé wa wípé ìró òbọn ò jẹ́ ké tí òun ó gbọ́ràn mọ́ níbi táwọn sọ́jà bá ti ń yìnbọn nù gbó. Because mo trust àwọn èèyàn kan wọ́n á ní bàbá fẹ́ lọ́nlù ó yẹ ká máa ti ń lé ni. àti pàápàá àwọn náà ò ní ṣàìsò sàmọ́fọwọ́ mi kù tí yan gúgúrú fẹ́gún ntọ́ bá máa wọ̀n yẹn yìnbọn bí ìbọn táwọn náà yìn ó tiẹ̀ bàyàn bí ò ní bàyàn. lójú ogun wọ́n máa ń yìnbọn bẹ̀rù lásán táwọn ọ̀tá òfin ní lè sọ pé àwọn fẹ́ yìnbọn moment yẹn because onímọ̀ bọ́yá wọ́n rí ọ ọkàn sáà gbúrò ìbọn ni ìwọ náà lẹ̀ bẹ́bẹ́ mọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ìgbà tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá gbúrò ìbọn mọ́ lẹ́yìn náà tó yin tọwọ́ yín. So we are very very unfortunate irú orílẹ̀-èdè tá a wà yìí. ó wà very very unfortunate irú àwọn olórí tá a ní. So wọ́n mọ location bíi tí wọ́n gbé márùn yẹn sí láti ẹjọ́ yìí. àbí wọ́n fọ́gbó débẹ̀ ni àbí wọ́n lànà débẹ̀ ni. all right o Ọlọ́run ràn gbogbo wa lọ́wọ́ o. Now, I've rescued Mrs. Abubakar, wife of retired Major General Rabi Abubakar, following a deadly encounter with armed bandits in Matazu local government area of Katsina State. Àwọn tó gbé wọn ò gbé wọn kọjá ìpínlẹ̀ Katsina. Gun encounter with armed bandits. So, casualty mélòó ńlá ní? Láàrin àwọn sùnmọ̀mí àbí wọ́n láyé ta ní ìbọn ọba wọn ní àbí ìbọn olè bá wọn àbí ó yẹ kí ìbọn ọba wọn. Distance wo wọ́n wà tán ti ń yìnbọn. Ọlọ́run ràn gbogbo wa lọ́wọ́. Popular security expert Zagazola Makama disclosed this in an exclusive report posted on his official X handle on Monday night. Ròyìn pàjáwìrì ni alẹ́ ìlọ́ ẹ̀sẹ̀ jáde. He said the operation conducted under Operation Clean Sweep 3. Wọ́n ò clean nǹkan kan, wọ́n ò sweep anything. Ẹ sọ fáwọn operation yẹn kan lọ change orúkọ wọn. Tán bá máa clean sweep. Kò yẹ kí kankan náà àwọn ajínigbé yẹn wà láàyè. Kò yẹ kó wà láàyè. Ó yẹ kí wọ́n ti jákùn ẹ̀mí gbogbo wọn. Ìgbà náà ni wọ́n tó di Operation Clean Sweep. Followed intelligence-led offensive launched in Matazu and adjoining communities after the abduction of the retired senior officer's wife. Ṣé ìyàwó ẹnìkan wọ́n gbé àbí wọ́n gbóòn náà? Quoting security sources, Makama said troops made contact with the bandits at Tunga village during the search and rescue operation, forcing the armed group to flee under heavy military pressure. Heavy military pressure. Láàgbọ́kù kankan nù wọn. What kind of military pressure is that? A jẹ́ pé military pressure òfegè ni, kò sí nǹkan kan bẹ́ẹ̀. All right, he said, and I quote, "The bandits shot her and fled. When we made contact at Tunga village, we have rescued Mrs. Abubakar. She's bleeding. We have given her first aid and are moving her for urgent medical attention," a military source said. So, eléyìí tó kù ń bẹ lọ́wọ́ ìjọba orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà o, àtẹ̀yìntẹ́ jọ́jọ̀gbọ́n, orílẹ̀-èdè yìí ṣe orílẹ̀-èdè. So, eléyìí láàyè ọ̀tọ̀ àwo gédéǹgbé, mo ní kí n fún yín bó ṣe wọlé náà ni o, kí n jábọ̀ eléyìí fún yín. Eléyìí tó gbé mi wá gangan ní tàwọn ajínigbé tó jẹ́ àbúrò Adébáyọ̀ Adelabu gbé. Kí dẹ̀ ló gbé mi wá? Ó ní rúmọ̀ oríṣiríṣi tó wà lórí ìtàkùn ayélujára. Ìtàkùn ayélujára ló ní kí wọ́n máa guess tàbí kí wọ́n máa tinú mọ́rọ̀. Gbogbo wọn ti sọ wípé ìjínigbé yẹn wà political, wọ́n ti ń tàgẹ̀ mọ́ opponents Adelabu. Bọ́n ṣe ń tàgẹ̀ mọ́ àwọn opponents ẹ̀ tí wọn ò jọ sí same party ni wọ́n ń tàgẹ̀ mọ́ àwọn opponents tán jọ wà ní same party, àwọn tán jọ di primary. Àwọn olóṣèlú yìí lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ gbà ọ̀rẹ́ ni wọ́n o. Ọ̀rẹ́ ni wọ́n o, wọ́n ń pera wọn sí party o. Gbogbo àwọn tán jọ fẹ́ di APC primary, tán jọ di APC primary, kíní kan primary, káàkiri state, they are all friends. Wọ́n kàn máa ń fi orí tiwa fàgbọ́n ni o. Tán bá fẹ́ ṣènáwó àwọn náà wọ́n máa ń pè o. Bọ́mọ wọn bá ṣe wedding àwọn wọn máa ń pera wọn o. Wọ́n bá fẹ́ sọjọ́ bí àwọn wọn máa ń pera wọn o. Ndì bálọ́ọ̀tì ni wọ́n ti máa ń jẹ́ ọ̀tá. Lẹ́yìn tán bá ti dìbò tán tégbé tirégbé, àwọn náà wọ́n tún máa ń wọlé ara wọn lọ kíra wọn o. Ẹgbẹ́ ẹyẹlẹyẹ ń wọ́tọ̀. So majority wọn ò rò débi pé kí wọ́n fìjàmbá sọmọlàkejì wọn. It is never do or die affairs with many of them. But majority àwa tá wà nígboro tá wà ń ta là á máa tinú mọ́rọ̀, á máa over calculate. Á máa bọ́ lọ́ bá láyé sáyé, á máa bá láyé rolé ayé wọn bó ṣe yẹ kán ó gbé àti bọ́n ṣe ń gbé. Àkọ́kọ́, ẹ̀jẹ̀ àkọ́kọ́ gbọ́ bí iléeṣẹ́ ọlọ́pàá ṣe sọ wípé àwọn mú wọn. Ká tó wá gbọ́ wìrìwìrì lẹ́nu àwọn tó lọ jí àwọn èèyàn gbé. Ṣẹ̀wọ̀n pa àwọn kan pàdánù ẹ̀mí wọn láàrin wọn. Bó ni wọ́n ṣe package ara wọn, bó wọ́n ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀. Ọjọ́ wo gangan ni wọ́n strike, ọjọ́ wo wọ́n ti ń pèlò rẹ̀. Wọ́n ti ń prepare tipẹ́tipẹ́. Wọ́n ti ń sọ movement àwọn ọmọ yẹn tipẹ́tipẹ́. Wọ́n mọ ilé ìwé wọn, wọ́n mọ inú ilé ibi tí wọ́n ń gbé, wọ́n mọ iye àwọn èèyàn tí ń gbé bẹ̀. Wọ́n mọ bí grammar wọn ṣe ń rìn, gbogbo ẹ̀ ni wọ́n ti monitor sẹ́yìn kó tó di pé wọ́n lọ. Kò mọ̀ lọ́wọ́ òṣèlú kankan nù o, àti jẹ́ àti mú ọ̀kánjúà ojú kòkòrò ló gbé wọn débẹ̀. Agbèrò gbogbo ibi agbèrò gbogbo wọn ti mọ́ra wọn. So táwọn èèyàn bá ń sọ wípé ọ̀pọ̀ nínú àwọn agbèrò ọ̀daràn ni wọ́n, kò ní sí rọ́ńbẹ̀, jàǹdùkú ni wọ́n, kò ní sí rọ́ńbẹ̀. Sọjá ọkọ̀ gbọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu abẹnugan iléeṣẹ́ ọlọ́pàá àbí agbẹnusọ iléeṣẹ́ ọlọ́pàá the same thing náà ni. tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ọba oníròyìn sọ̀rọ̀ jágbọ́n tó sọ.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, listener.
All right, so we've seen the video. We're grateful that the rescue happened. That none of the victims was hurt. We understand 2 persons were neutralized among the kidnappers. So maybe give us a clear picture of what we saw. You know, so many things have happened. People have doubted their state. People have said all kinds of things. But it's an opportunity for the police to give their own report as to what we saw, what we all witnessed on video. I'm sure it was published by the police itself. So tell us how this happened. And where did this happen?
So, thank you. So, the incident happened. The woman was kidnapped on the 3rd, alongside her 2 sons, while she was dropping them in school. And ever since then, on the directive of the Inspector General of Police, IGP Olatunji on this.
Now, can you imagine? On the directive of the IGP, does it mean pé tí Inspector General of Police ò bá direct wọn ò ní gbégbésẹ̀? Sọ yẹ kí iléeṣẹ́ ọlọ́pàá ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ẹ̀sẹ̀ mọ́ dúró de direction IGP kí wọ́n tó gbégbésẹ̀ lórí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ tó ṣẹlẹ̀ nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́.
So, PSC Daga, NPM, the Commissioner of Police immediately coordinated a rescue operation together in conjunction with the operative or the Force Intelligence Department, IRT operatives. And since then, we've been on the trail of the perpetrator. One of the perpetrators by name, popularly called Oloro, has been on the command watch list. The operatives continue to trail him until his eventual arrest on Thursday. After his arrest,
ọ̀daràn paraku nìkan nù wọn ó ti lẹ̀ wọ́n ti tẹ̀ wọ́n dé.
And the interrogation, he continued to cooperate with the operatives, which led to arrest of another of his conspirator, Paul Dari, popularly called Solution here in Ibadan. The 2 of them operated and they explained how the operation was carried out. So they began the operations around May of this month when Dari, Solution, popularly called Solution, approached a personal assistant to the family, to one of the known person in the family, and all of them conspired to kidnap the mother of the victim. And this, upon several analysis of the digital footprints, we were able to discover that they had their lifestyle, their routines fulfilled, and they had details of their activities. Initial plan was to kidnap the mother. However, they realized that it was the driver that usually take them to school, and they changed their plan to go for the kids. Unfortunately for them, or luckily for them, that day it was the mother that dropped them in school, and they swung into action, adopted them, and took them to then an unknown location. So the operative continued intelligence-led operation, checking, leaving no stone unturned in ensuring that they were rescued on earth, because that was the mandate and the directive of the Inspector General of Police. And we've been on that until on the 6th at 7:30 when the hideout was stormed at Ayegun here in Ibadan. And upon sighting the operative, one of the gang member who was on the lookout, identified by the name Kelechi, who had traveled from Lagos to come and participate in this operation, opened fire on the operative, and the operatives professionally and with tactical precision neutralized him, and his the second, who was also there to give a covering fire for him, neutralized the 2 of them, recovered their production rifle, and then moved into, like you see in the video that was gone viral there. They were able to rescue the mother and the 2 sons. And they arrested one of the accomplices in the operation.
You know, this points to a trend we have seen in kidnapping such as this, where someone close to the victims or the victim is usually fingered as part of the gang or those who conspired to kidnap. So you're saying that someone close to the family was a part of this?
Of course, someone close to the family who happened to be a personal assistant by name Shegun was one of those who were picked. He was the one that was first approached by Dari to let them give them an inside information of how the family lives, their lifestyle, their routine, and all of that.
So
now àwọn tí wọ́n jí àbúrò Adelabu gbé wọ́n ní ọ̀rẹ́ nínú ilé ń bẹ̀ tí wọ́n ti jọ ń dùnádùrà ti pẹ́ tí wọ́n ti jọ ń wá bí wọ́n ó ṣe wọnú ilé ọ̀hún àbọ̀nà tí wọ́n fi ìyá àwọn ọmọ yẹn gangan wọ́n fẹ́ gbé ṣé gbàgbé pa ló ṣiṣẹ́ ní báńkì àpapọ̀ rí ó tún ṣiṣẹ́ níbì kan náà rí ó ti wá rìtáyà at the age of 42 or 43 now òun gangan wọ́n fẹ́ gbé bóyá wọ́n rò pé dífíkọ́tì náà fi wá switch sórí àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀ èèmù wọn ni pé dẹ́rẹ́bà ni yóò gbé wọn lọ sùkúù wọn mọ̀ pé ìyá wọn gangan ni ó gbé wọn lọ níjọ́ tí wọ́n dàbò wọn lọ́nà ẹ já rìn nínú ọ̀rọ̀ tó pọ̀ tàbí ká rìn nínú ọ̀rọ̀ tí ó pọ̀ tàbí ká gé pépèpé bó tiẹ̀ jẹ́ pé àáka bí ọ̀rọ̀ ń ṣe jẹ́ gan-an ìpínlẹ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ tó tẹ̀mí lọ́wọ́ rèé kidnap suspects open up how we planned kidnap of Adelabu's sister twin sons before his arrest by the operatives of the Force Intelligence Department Intelligence Response Team FID IRT and other tactical teams in Oyo State Police Command. Ṣẹ́gun Balógun aka Aláwàyè. Ṣẹ́gun Balógun personal assistant wọ́n nu léhùn. Yorùbá ti parí ọ̀rọ̀ wọ́n ní bí ò sí ó lè lé títà ò lè já ni. Ó lè lé ní ó ṣílẹ̀kùn fún títà. Yóò dẹ̀ǹgẹ̀ pó ilẹ̀kùn nígbà tí ẹ bá ti tilẹ̀kùn. Yóò padà yóò rè sí lẹ́yìn. Tàbí kó sọ fáwọn tí ń bọ̀ pé ẹ má gbà wájú ilé o àti tilẹ̀kùn bẹ o ṣùgbọ́n òun ó sì ti kísìn nílẹ̀ ibẹ̀lẹ̀ gbà wọlé. Láìsí ó lè lé títà ò ní ráàyè wọlé. Torí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ilé tí wọ́n ń kọ́ nìsín kéèyàn ó tó jálẹ̀kùn bí olúwa rẹ̀ ó ṣe yọ jẹ́. So kò rọrùn láti wọnú ilé bẹ̀. Now Ṣẹ́gun Aláwàyè kò ló jẹ́ kí wọ́n láǹfààní àti wọ inú ilé. Okay. Aláwàyè was known among other drivers at the motor park in Iwo Road area of Ibadan, Oyo State, where he used to convey passengers to their destinations. Àwọn olóṣèlú yìí náà ni wọ́n máa ń fa ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wàhálà fúnra wọn. Ẹ bá ti lo tọ́ọ̀gì tán ẹ fẹ́ kí wọ́n máa gbégbé ayé tọ́ọ̀gì lọ forever because bẹ́ẹ̀yìn ó ṣe lọ mú èèyàn nídìí ọkọ̀ téèyàn ó fi ṣe personal assistant ní òye mi. Kò sí bó ti lè níwà tó dáa tó ẹnikẹ́ni tí bá ti ń ṣiṣẹ́ ìdí ọkọ̀ tí ń ṣiṣẹ́ agbèrò yóò ti háàdì mọ́ ìwà tí tó ní torí wèrè ló lè ṣe. Sorry to use that language with due respect sáwọn tí wọ́n ń ṣiṣẹ́ agbèrò. Àwọn agbèrò kan ń bẹ tó jẹ́ pé àtijẹ́ àtimu ló tì wọ́n débẹ̀. Kọ́lọ́ mọ́ fi àtijẹ́ àtimu wá síbi tó há. Ṣùgbọ́n kò sí bó ti wù kọ́mọlúàbí ó bá jàǹdùkú rìn tó yọ̀ dára wọn. Ìwúrẹ́ tó bá járìn yóò jẹ̀gbọ̀nsẹ̀. Ajá tó bẹ́ wúrẹ́ rìn yóò jẹ èpo oṣù. Àwọn ìwà kan ń bẹ tó jẹ́ pé kò ṣeé yẹ̀ sílẹ̀ bó bá ti ń bá wọn ṣe. Láti ibẹ̀ náà ni wọ́n ti lọ́bì ara wọn. Òun ti di personal assistant. Àwọn tí wọ́n jọ mọ rángáréèjì ni wọ́n ronú kan bí wọ́n ṣe fẹ́ jí ẹni yẹn gbé gbowó gidi ó ṣe jáde sí wọn. Wọ́n á kàn sóhun. Ẹ jẹ́ ń farabalẹ̀ sí láwẹ́láwẹ́ because ó yẹ kó wà on record. Kẹ́yìn gan ṣe mọ kẹ́ ẹ mọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe paramọ́ fáwọn èèyàn tó yí ń ká ní tó gbé mi wá nù. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ẹni tó look gentle nínú ilé tó look innocent nínú ilé iná ni wọ́n mọ̀ rárá. Ní tó gbé mi wá gangan nìyẹn o. It's not because of content. It's because of the information. Information tó kún pẹ̀lú ìjẹ́wọ́ ẹ̀ṣẹ̀. So now, unknown to many, he decided to choose another route to make money. Kò wà political rárá. Ntó gbé mi lára, ntó gbé mi wá náà nìyẹn. He applied his driving skill to convey members of a kidnap gang he joined to their operations and taking the victims to the safe house, prepare for them. This he did very well until the gang's corp became full. Aláwàyè is among the suspects arrested for their alleged involvement in the kidnap of the former Minister of Power, Chief Adebayo Adelabu's sister, Mrs. Olaide Busayo Adegoke, and twin sons. Segun has confessed to how he took the gang leader, Adewale Abolariwa, aka Oloro, to the house where Adelabu's extended family members reside in preparation for the kidnap carried out on June 3. Kì í ṣe June 3 wọ́n ẹ̀sẹ̀ lọ́bẹ̀. Wọ́n ti ń plan ẹ̀ tipẹ́. Wọ́n ti ń strategize tipẹ́tipẹ́. Wọ́n ti ń wá tipẹ́tipẹ́. Wọ́n ti mọ movement wọn tipẹ́tipẹ́. Wọ́n mọ bí wọ́n ṣe ń rìn. Ṣẹ́gun Aláwayè ni ó pè wọ́n pé aago báyìí ni o, ọkọ̀ báyìí ni ó gbé jáde o. Ẹ dúró dè wọ́n o. Segun and one of the man working with a politician named Withhead. Kò sí nǹkan kan bẹ̀ náà, name Withhead. Kò ju ẹni tí wọ́n lọ wọlé wọn náà lọ. Revealed how he was approached by Oloro for the kidnap of the woman and her twin children. It will be recalled that the kidnapped victims were rescued last Saturday from where they were held hostage at Lako community. Ló dé network yẹn kàn dédé máa kú báyìí. Okay, ó dà nígbó ti padà. So, at Lako community on Ayegun Olomi Road, Ibadan. Oh, my bad. Okay. Ayegun Olomi Road, Ibadan, by police operatives following the directive of the Inspector General of Police, IGP Olatunji Rilwan Disu, gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọ̀gá ọlọ́pàá ẹ̀kan ṣe sọ. Tẹ́ bá ń ṣe program yẹn torí àwọn tó jáde. Also arrested were the gang leader Adewale Abolariwa aka Oloro and Dare Oyedele aka Solution. Solution yẹn ti di problem báyìí. So it was learned that Solution was well known as an automobile electrical technician, especially at Orita Challenge area up to Podo area and its environs in Ibadan. He was also said to have a business where he accommodated other automobile technicians' workshops. Saturday, Kenekan discovered that many people who knew him very well are still finding it hard to believe that the same Solution was a kidnapped gang member. Because ó máa look innocent, á look gentle. Àwa kan dẹ̀ wà tá máa ń trust èèyàn tá bá ti rójú wọn tó gentle. Ń bẹ̀rẹ̀ àwọn tó lù mí jìbìtì 2 million naira tán láwọn talẹ̀ fún mi. Ìkan pásítọ̀ Gbénga ìkejì rẹ̀ lẹ́yìn tá a mọ̀ tí a ti mọ̀ bí ẹni mo more than 10 years. Wọ́n sì lù mí jìbìtì tán gba 2 million naira lọ́wọ́ mi ṣùgbọ́n tọ̀dọ̀ mi bíi tàwọn Adédùbú ni ó ṣe rí o. Bí wọ́n ṣe rí àwọn yẹn gbà padà lèmi náà rí owó mi gbà padà. Ẹ̀ngbà di òtòṣì talárò ìka ló gbé. Ẹni tí ìwà rẹ̀fà mẹ́fà ń gbé olóòní rìn bó ṣe kí wọ́n rú ọ lérí. Ẹ ń pẹ́ ò tí ìdákẹ́ Ọlọ́run gbàgbọ́ ya etí ẹ ó dì. Ìyẹn certain now. So ó máa look innocent. Bí èèyàn bá rí èèyàn ó pé ilé ò lè ṣiṣẹ́ láàbí bẹ́ẹ̀. According to police sources, the plan to kidnap the twins started on May 5. So wọ́n wá a month interval. After a month, wọ́n ti ń plan ẹ̀, wọ́n execute operation wọn. Started on May 5, the mountain surveillance on the compound where the twins live and on the conveyance of the children to and from school. It was learned that Solution took up the job of office in charge of surveillance for the kidnap gang, training the targeted twins, communications between Oloro and Solution, which were intercepted by the IRT operatives, indicated the kidnap gang's preparedness towards the kidnap operation. Kò sẹ́ni tí ó dédé kojú irú sẹ́bẹ̀ náà láàrin gbòòrò Ìbàdàn, èèyàn gbọ́dọ̀ plan ẹ̀ dáadáa. So wọ́n plan ẹ̀ dáadáa, wọ́n rí ṣe dáadáa, wọn ò rí yọrí dáadáa ni. Torí pé ẹ̀mí irọ́ kìí gùn, ẹ̀mí ọ̀daràn kìí gùn, wọ́n padà mú ọ náà ni. Irọ́ ló lè sáré fógún ọdún kọ́ máa mẹ́hẹlẹ́. Ọjọ́ gbogbo ń tó lè ọjọ́ kan tó ní nǹkan. Unknown to the target family, Solution knew the school being attended by the twins. He knew the process of opening the gates whenever the car approached the residence of the victims. He knew the make of the vehicle with its tinted side glasses. He observed the smartness of the driver. He knew when the grandmother, that is, ex-minister's mother, was in the compound. Ọmọ ìgbà tí Adelabu wà nílé. Ọmọ process ìbọn ṣe ń sí géètì wọn. Nígbà àwọn géètì kan ó ẹsẹ̀ hàn pápá káwọn tí ń bẹnu ilé ó tó mọ jáde láti wá sílẹ̀kùn fún ọ tàbí kí gateman ó tó wá sílẹ̀kùn fún ọ. Ọmọ school àwọn ọmọ yẹn ọmọ bó ṣe táìtì tó. So gbogbo àwọn nǹkan yẹn ló ti wà nílẹ̀. Then in one of the intercepted messages, solution was describing the school being attended by the children of posh, equipped with air conditions and very expensive. Ó ti mọ ilé ìwé tán lọ. Àwọn tó mọ wọn bẹ́ẹ̀ pé àwọn olówó lọ́wọ́ àmì o. Bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn bá irọ́ ọmọ kan gbé èèyàn ti buwó jẹ o. Èèyàn ti sú sówó gidi o. Bàbá àgbàlagbà. Operation tá a fẹ́ ṣe yẹn warning town ni o. Warning town ni Minister of Power ó máa gbéṣu jáde Ọlọ́run. Ẹni tó tún fẹ́ lọ fún gọ́fúnà. Bàbá máa buṣú ń bẹ̀ yẹn. Àṣà gbọ́dọ̀ get me, everybody gbọ́dọ̀ execute iṣẹ́ dáadáa kò yé. Olóró má fọ́ ń bù o. Aláwàyè má mẹ́lẹ̀ ń bẹ̀ pẹ̀pín kò yé ẹ. Kò sáfọ aláwọn information tó yẹ kó fún wa. Fèlè tó kù lẹ̀ fún wa. Àbí kí ló sọ Aláwàyè kò sí wàhálà. Kò sí wàhálà. Ẹ ṣáà make sure pé gbogbo nǹkan tá a bá gbà ń bẹ̀ á pín dáadáa o. Ẹ̀wọ̀n pé iṣẹ́ tí èèyàn ṣe ìbàbí iṣẹ́ ẹrú náà ni o. Nígbà tí èèyàn kan ṣe ẹrú ni o. Kò ṣe pọ́n fún èèyàn ní nǹkan kan dàbí alára o. Lẹ́yìn sálárì kò sí nǹkan kan mọ́ o. Aṣọ ọdún ń bẹ̀ yẹn adìẹ lásán wọn ò lè fún mi. Ẹran lásán wọn ò lè sọ pé kémi náà lọ pa fún fámìlì mi. Irú iṣẹ́ òṣìwò la wá ń ṣe yẹn. Bọ̀ tí èèyàn bá ti gbàgbẹ́ mi lẹ́ẹ̀kan báyìí, màá kàn bá wọn iṣẹ́ bí oṣù bíi méjì kan. Olúwarẹ̀ ó dàn fi ṣe wọn lẹ̀. Ní tí èèyàn bá gbà ń bẹ̀ yà jẹ́mọ́nú ni kí èèyàn lọ máa lo ilé yẹn ná. Gẹ́ẹ̀tì ẹ̀ wọ́n ní ọ̀gá gẹ́ẹ̀tì ẹ̀ jàre wọ́n gbà tó ń tọ́jú ẹ̀ dáadáa. Gbogbo ẹ̀tọ́ ẹ̀ làwọn máa bẹ ìgbà lọ́wọ́ wọn. Ẹ má sọ pé mi náà wà láàrin wọn o. Yà àríkòǹkò ọwà ń bẹ. So now wọ́n ti mọ báwo ni wọ́n ṣe ṣí géètì wọn. How long ni mo ń take wọn? Do you know? Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ èèyàn ló jẹ́ pẹ́nu géètì wọn ti gbé wọn. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ló jẹ́ pé bá ń ṣe ń drive wọlé náà làwọn tí ó jù wọn gbé náà ń wọnú ilé pẹ̀lú wọn. Géètì wọn ti ń ṣílẹ̀kùn yọ̀yanu kalẹ̀ ní bí wọn ò bá tiẹ̀ fi ìbọn dá lóhùn. Wọ́n gbé tí wọ́n gbé gbogbo géètì ọ̀wà ń ṣiṣẹ́ gbàyàwó wọn lọ. So àtẹ̀mí àtẹ̀yìn gbọ́dọ̀ mọ wà very very alert every time. Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ kó jẹ́ pin wa o lágbára Ọlọ́run. Àwọn tí wọ́n jí gbé wọ́n ó rí ìdásílẹ̀ ayọ̀ lágbára Ọlọ́run. Further information gathered about Solution revealed that he owned 2 buildings within the Ayegun community and was the one who helped to get the caretaker from whom the gang rented the house turned into kidnappers den. Now, ẹni tán pè ní Solution yìí tí ìbá ṣe pé jẹ́ ń jalè díẹ̀ sí lọ́wọ́ fi bolè wọ́n ló nílé méjì. That means ọ̀nà tí jẹ́rí ọ̀há ṣùgbọ́n ojú kòkòrò ká máa wo ọlá ọlọ́lá ká máa fojú calculate ibi tó yẹ ká dé tó yẹ ká ti achieve láì fojú calculate wọn bá tá a ti achieve ká dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run ká wá àwọn tí ò tí ì tó ni eléyìí ò sí fún wọn. So ó ti rí jẹ ó ti rí mu òun ló bá ń wá kí àtẹkà tán gbalé lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. Ẹyọ kan tó wá dùn mí tó sì bí mi nú ń bẹ̀ ni pé bó níjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ṣe máa dédé wọlé yẹn. Ẹ tí ìbá pàdé nínú ìwádìí páwọn tó jí wọn gbé lọ nílé tàbí lọ́kọ́lé kí àtẹkà lè gbélé fẹ́ anybody. Kò sẹ́ni tí yóò fẹ́ gbalé lọ́wọ́ èèyàn tí ó sọ wípé ajínigbé lè mi o kẹ́ tó fún mi nílé o máa ń jiyàn gbé ni o. Bá business táwa ń ṣe nìyà máa ń jalè ká lọ láàárọ̀ tàbí àwa ò kì í ṣiṣẹ́ àárọ̀ àdẹ́ ń ṣe tọ̀sán ṣùgbọ́n bí ilẹ̀ bá ti ṣú báyìí àlọ́gó ló ń kígbe náà ń pa wá o. Bàá máa gbà lọ́wọ́ mẹ́rin o bá lẹ̀ jò ń tó lọ iṣẹ́ táwa ń ṣe nìyẹn. Tẹ́ bá fẹ́ fún wa nílé kẹ́ fún wa nílé ẹ̀ bá dẹ̀ fún wa nílé ẹ pẹ̀pín ẹ bì sẹ́yìn kò sí wàhálà náà o òun ṣagídì. So ṣé ẹ̀yin náà dẹ̀ wá fún ẹni bẹ́ẹ̀ nílé? Kò sẹ́ni tí ó fẹ́ gbalé tí ó sọ pọ̀ dáràn lóhun. Everybody máa present ààrẹ dáadáa ni kí lọ́kàn kí á ti kà so ní ọba àwọn gbélé ni tí kíátíkà nípa ẹ fẹ́ gbalé iye báyìí lẹ́san o òfin tó wà fún lérè o iye tẹ́san lówó náà lélẹ̀ o ọ̀tán báwo ni gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì ṣe máa sáré lọ bí ilé yẹn lulẹ̀ tí gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì bá ti bí ilé lulẹ̀ báwọn ẹ tún sọ pé ẹ fẹ́ gbalẹ̀ ẹbẹ̀ ẹ kí ló wá kẹ́ni tó nílé sọ àwọn àṣejù máa ń wà lọ́wọ́ àwọn ìjọba wa lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ gbà àṣírí àṣejásán àṣà wá àwọn nǹkan tí ò wọ́ tiẹ̀ kò yẹ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀ a lè sọ pé torí pé náà wà lórí ká górí sọnù a lè sọ pé ojú ń wa mi ká wá kígi bojú orí fẹ́ kọ́ orí bíbẹ́ kọ́ lóògùn náà orí borí bá ń fọ́ nínú ìsìn ìkójú ọmọ dá mi sùúrù ká wá pé solution náà ni pé kẹ́ gbé orí yẹn kúrò lọ́rùn gbà yẹn lé orí fífọ́ yẹn tó máa lọ ẹjá máa ní sùúrù náà náà ó ìfọlájì ọ̀lẹ́lẹ̀ ìṣe agbára lórin níta fi lè wọlé yẹn ni pé tíwádìí bá sọ pé kan nínú àwọn ajínigbé ìlú nílé yẹn ìgbà yẹn ló tó wọ̀ tí wíwó sọ àwọn ẹlòmíì tí wọ́n jí èèyàn wọn gbé ńkọ́ tó jẹ́ pé àwọn tó jí wọn gbé ò nílé kí lẹ̀ san tá a san fáwọn àwọn tó jí èèyàn wa gbé tán gbé wọn lọ nú igbó tí wọ́n sì tún padà sá lọ wọ́n tún padà escape wọ́n tún padà gba ransom kí lẹ̀ san tá a san fáwọn ẹjá mọ̀ tèkẹ́ yìí sí ìjọba o Ọlọ́run ràn gbogbo wa lọ́wọ́ o. So Wom gang rented, the house turned into a kidnapper den. It was also discovered that his younger brother was living in the same area but had fled since the lead of the gang's atrocities has blown open. During a search, a pump-action gun was reported to have been found in Solution's house, totaling 3 guns recovered from the gang. Before the rescue of the victims and the arrest of the suspects, information added that the repeated kidnapping within Ibadan had raised suspicion about Oloro's likely involvement, prompting a kickstart of intelligence-led gathering of information about him, especially when he allegedly jumped bail after his release from prison for a previous kidnap offense. Ọ̀gbẹ́ni ó ti wà into kidnapping tipẹ́, ó ti ń jiyàn gbé tipẹ́, ó ti lọ sẹ́wọ̀n torí ẹ̀ rí. Okay, wọ́n gba béèlì ẹ̀, ó jọ̀mpù béèlì. Ìyẹn làwọn ọlọ́pàá fi ń wá káàkiri, ẹ mọ̀ wá wo bó tún ṣe link padà. For previous kidnap offense, since Alawaye was known to be Oloro's friend, operatives of the monitoring unit reportedly met and asked him of Oloro's whereabouts, to which he responded that he had been calling him but had not been able to reach him. However, the operatives' eagle eye saw that he was making attempts to delete some information from his phone, which made them snatch it from him to have a look at what he was trying to do. Ọ̀gbẹ́ni ń gbìyànjú láti sáré delete àwọn nǹkan kan wọ́n já fóònù gbà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. Kí ló fẹ́ delete? To their surprise, they reportedly stumbled on a message involving the purchase of a gun by Oloro, who told Alawaye that the gun seller had refused to give him the weapon after taking his money. Wọ́n fẹ́ ràbọn. Nǹkan fẹ́ ràbọn fún wọn ti sẹ́ndì owó fún un. Wọ́n ti sẹ́ndì owó sí i. Kò gbé bàn kalẹ̀. Ó wá sẹ́ndì mẹ́sẹ̀jì sí pé ẹ̀hún tá a fẹ́ ra ọ̀pá lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ o. Lórí burúkú tá a fẹ́ ra rèké lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. Mi ti sẹ́ndì owó sí o. Kò gbọ́ pa kalẹ̀ o. Ìyẹn ni mẹ́sẹ̀jì tí ń bẹ lórí fóònù wọn. With that, the operatives detained the suspect for investigation, unknown to them that he was part of the kidnapping that occurred a day before he was picked. His involvement was revealed 2 days later. Because a máa wò wípé àwọn ọlọ́pàá máa wà intelligent o, báwo náà ṣe mọ location wọn. Meanwhile, wọ́n ti arrest ọ̀gbẹ́ni wọn mọ̀ pé wà nú àwọn kidnapper. Àwọn arrest ẹ̀ pọ́ jump bail. Wọ́n arrest ẹ̀ mọ́ wà ọ̀daràn tó ti wà lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. Wọ́n mọ̀ pé léyìí gangan tó jẹ́ major wà gangan pé òun náà wà involved. So, Oloro asked me if Adelabu still had a mother. Ṣẹ́gun Aláwayè kọ́hún And I said yes. He asked me again about where she was living, and I told him. Can you imagine that? In an interview with Sunday Tribune, inside the cell, Segun, age 47, and an indigene of Ibadan, opened up on his membership of the kidnapping gang. He said, and I quote, I'm a driver who transport passengers from Iwo Road Motor Park at World Oil Axis. Àwọn tó wà lórí bíríìjì òní, ìbẹ̀lẹ̀ ti wọ mọ́tò Sagam, ìbẹ̀lẹ̀ ti wọ mọ́tò Jẹ̀bú, ìbẹ̀lẹ̀ ti wọ mọ́tò Ajá, nǹkan lọ bẹ́ẹ̀. I didn't start the operation with the gang from the onset. I have known Oloro for more than 10 years in our transport union. At the point, he committed some crimes and was arrested and remanded. Later, we heard that he was in Lagos. Mo ti rí ọ̀rẹ́ mi ti pẹ́. Rírí tí n ó rí towó mo rí ló ti ẹlòmíì ṣiṣẹ́ ọ̀daràn. N ló ti wọ́n sínú wàhálà, n ló ti wọ́n sínú ìjínigbé. Ọ̀rẹ́ báwo ló ṣe ń dàn? Ó kàn ń dán yàtọ̀ ni o. Ọkọ̀ ilé tó tún gbé wá ilé o. No. Ọ̀rẹ́ mi ò ti bu táǹbì kan. Ọ̀rẹ́ mi ò ti rí ibù. Fọ̀nà wà náà o. Má fún alẹ́ jajẹ kó abọ́n ṣe ń pẹja. Bó ṣe wá ń jọ yẹn náà nìyẹn o tó gbé mi mọ́ra. Ní ká lọ mutí amutí tán òrẹ́jà fún wa ògo sí nǹkan tá a fẹ́ jẹ tó fún wa. Bí wọn náà ṣe ń bìsàbìsà yí ọ̀rẹ́ mi jẹ́ ká náà bìsà náà o. Já kò sí wàhálà mọ́ wọ́rí tí bá ti padà wá Ìbàdàn àwọn àmà sọ́n pa ẹ̀. I have known Oloro for more than 10 years. In our transport union, at a point, he committed some crimes and was arrested and remanded. Later, we heard that he was in Lagos. Along the line, he returned to Ibadan. One day, I saw him at Iwo Road Motor Park. It was in 2025. He gave me his phone number and some money. We used to chat. Owó ni gbòǹgbò ẹsẹ̀. Meanwhile, gbogbo ẹni tó bá iṣẹ́ náà ni ó lówó. Àwa lè lówó bákan náà. Ntọ́jà jù láyé ẹ̀dá káti jẹ àti mọ́ mọ̀ nira. Kó rí bùkátà lè rẹ̀ gbọ́. Níwọ̀nba, a lè rí gbọ́ tán, bùkátà ò lè tán. Bó o bímọ méjì ò lè tọ́ wọn tán, bó o bí kan ṣoṣo ò lè tọ́ wọn tán, bó o bí mẹ́ta ò lè tọ́ wọn tán. Ṣùgbọ́n ká máa rí ṣe, ká máa rí jẹ, ká máa rí mu, oore tó tó láyé ò sí. I don't want to become a billionaire. Yóò fún mi wàhálà tó pọ̀. Débi tí wọ́n dream pé mo fẹ́ di trillionaire nínú gbogbo nǹkan tó táìtì tí gbogbo nǹkan lè kankan bí ojú ẹja yìí lè yóò ti di billionaire di trillionaire. Àwọn tí ó dá ti dá á, àwọn kọ̀ọ̀kan mí iná ó tún dá á. Kì í sàlá ti ru wá lé lá. Kó o tó sọ pé ó ṣe nǹkan kọ́kọ́ wo sí apá ẹ̀ yéé ló lọ́n pa wọlé ń bẹ̀. Àpásọ̀ ti jẹ lọ lára ẹlòmíì. Wọ́n á nínú ilé tó wà ní òsálùbáríkà ń bẹ̀, kò sílé kankan tó yàtọ̀ sílé kankan brọ́dà mi, kò sílé kankan tó yàtọ̀ sílé kankan sísítà mi. Èló ló ń pa wọ bẹ̀ kó tó pàgbà náà wọnú owó ẹ̀. Èló ló ń pa wọ bẹ̀, èló ló ń ná ń bẹ̀, èló ló fi ń gbọ́ bùkátà. Ṣé bùkátà tó ń gbọ́ sí ọ̀gá ju apá in tó mú wọlé lọ? Kan tó sọ fún ọ wípé ilé yẹn ló ń kó gbogbo oore rẹ àbí nǹkan kan bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ tí ń ṣàdúrà rẹ jẹ. All right, we used to chat. On a particular day, the transport union chairman and I were discussing Oloro, wondering what he was doing as a job. So think about him. Before then, a police officer who had been looking for Oloro, ọlọ́pàá ti ń wá. Ẹ ń béèrè pé bóò níṣẹ́ tó ṣe tó bóò ló ṣe ń dán báyìí. Lẹ́nu ìgbà tó kò lọ́dọ̀ wáyé rẹ̀ ti dá o. Wúrú aṣọ tí ń wọ̀, wo aago tí ń lò, wo bàtà tí ń tẹ̀, wúrú mọ́tò tó gbé wá. Bàbá àgbà ọjọ́ wo làwọn náà máa ṣe léyìí dà. Ìjà bá bọ̀ bọ́ èkó fọ̀nà hàn wá o. Ló bá yé wọn jẹ́. Àṣé báyìí ni wọ́n mú mílíkì nílé ńlọ́kó bọ́mọ oko. Mo dá sásáró oko, ìyá ní kó jẹ wọ́n lárùbíìdì. Okay. I've been looking for Oloro. I told us that he jumped bail. We called him and he came to us. We discussed his atrocities with him and he promised not to do such again. He even placed a curse on himself if he ever committed a crime again. That is, ngbà tí ọlọ́pàá wá sí páàkì, àwọn wá invite ẹ̀. Wọ́n wá ṣàlàyé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nǹkan tọ́lọ́pàá yẹn ti sọ wípé ó ti ṣe. Pé ó wá sọ pé àwọn ò ní ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ mọ́ o. Wọ́n expose ẹ̀. Wọ́n fi hàn torí pé wọ́n fẹ́ kọ́ fọ̀nà hàn wọ́n. Oloro started frequenting the motor park. Ó ń wá consistently. Then we started discussing about upcoming elections and campaigns in 2019. Oloro and I worked for olóṣèlú kan tá a dárúkọ. When he did not win, when he did not win the governorship, I left the motor park. This time, 2026-2007, we decided to work for the 2019 candidate who did not win, and we used to call one another. However, at the time, Oloro, was not responding to my calls frequently, as he said he was busy in Lagos. On his return to Ibadan, he stopped coming to the political group's outing. Nígbà tó ti níṣẹ́ mi lọ́wọ́, tó ti ní alámìn tiẹ̀, ó wò pé kákan bá wọn lọ campaign lòun ò folúwa rẹ̀. Nígbà tá a bá pínwó náà bíi 2,000, 1,000, 5,000 ni ó gbọ́dọ̀ ní ó padà kú sí. Níjó láṣẹ lè dà. Àní ká jíyàn gbé. Àní kan fún wa millions of naira ká jẹ béèrè 50 million naira. Kan fún wa ká ṣàyẹn 10-10. Àbí ká ṣàyẹn 20-20. Mi mo múṣẹ́ wá o. Ẹ lè fẹ́ mi 10 million o. 20 million lè máa ṣáì mi o. Báwo mo tún ṣe fẹ́ mú mi wá tẹ̀ bá ṣá mi incorrect, ẹ fún mi 20 bay 20 páálí bí o bá ti pa àádọ́ta ká má gbà o. Ìṣú ń bẹ lọ́wọ́ àwọn bọ̀bọ̀ yìí mẹ́. In this time 2026-2027 we decided to work for the 2029, okay? Oloro was not responding political group outings. Recently, Oloro moved to the camp of the man who won the primary, name withheld, but I told them I will stay with the old governorship aspirant, name withheld. However, that didn't stop us from interacting. One day in May, while we sat together, Oloro asked me if Adelabu still had a mother, and I said yes. He asked me again about where she was living, and I told him, and I told him, he said I should take him to the place. One day we went to Liberty Stadium for an aspirant declaration. From there, we proceeded to Adelabu's mother's house. Ìyá oníyà wọn fẹ́ jí gbé tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀. Òní wọ́n ti believe pé yóò tètè mówó jáde. Ṣẹ́rù ọ̀bà wọn ni. Tí wọ́n mọ̀ pé ìyá Adelabu yóò ní security tó tight. So lórí burúkú wọn níyà. Bí wọ́n bá níyà bó lẹ ṣe máa dream of lọ gbé ìyá àgbàlagbà. Ẹ̀rọ condition màmá. Can you imagine that? Just because of money. Àwọn go lè níyà ná bí kíyàwó bí wọn kan kó gbé wọn jùnù kan ráre lábẹ́ bíríìjì bí wọ́n ṣe máa dàgbànú. So after showing him the house, he opened up to me that he was planning to kidnap the mother or a child from the Adelabu family. Ó fẹ́ bìsàbìsà. Ó fẹ́ gbowó lẹ́ẹ̀kan náà. The reason he gave me was that he was broke. Can you imagine that? Ṣé téèyàn bá broke kó lọ jí oníyàgbé ló sì kàn kó wọn má lè ṣiṣẹ́ owó? Téèyàn bá broke ó normal kẹ́dà ó broke. Ní tí wọ́n fi tó àwa dàgbà ibi àtayọ ni. Kì í ṣe ayọ̀ lójoojúmọ́. Kébi ó pa wá káyọ̀ lónìí, kébi ó pa wá lọ́la, káyọ̀ lónìí, kébi ó pa wá lọ́la, káyọ̀ ńjọ́ méjì, kébi ó pa wá ńjọ́ kan. Bá a ṣe dàgbà nìyẹn. A dẹ̀ ti mọ̀ pé kò sí májíìkì ń bẹ. Owó wà lónìí ó lè má wà lọ́la. Bá a ṣe máa mèsè táfi jáde láyé nu. Yàtọ̀ sáwọn tọ́lọ̀ ń ṣẹ́gi ọlà fún, àwa náà gbàdúrà kọ́lọ̀ wọn ṣẹ́gi ọlà fún wa. Ṣùgbọ́n báwa ṣe especially me bí mo ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ sílé ayé nìyẹn. Mi ò rí ilé ayé gẹ́gẹ́ bí yóò máa wà every day. Nígbà tí ò ń ṣe magic náà, ó ló fẹ́ máa wà every day. Ọ̀dá ó máa wà, owó ó máa wà, ọ̀dá ó sì wà, àmọ́ mí ìṣẹ́ mọ́ra wọn. Bá ṣe gbélé ayé nìyẹn yẹn gan ló máa jẹ́ ká value Ọlọ́run, ló máa jẹ́ ká mọ̀ pé Ọlọ́run ń bẹ. Ló máa jẹ́ ká mọ̀ pé no shortcut to success. So torí pé èèyàn broke, yẹn ló jẹ́ kó rò ó lọ́kàn pé ó fẹ́ lọ jí ìyá oníyà gbé. Méjì nù yín ó pàdánù ẹ̀mí, ó pàdé kú òjijì. Lóòótọ́ lẹ rí wọn jí gbé ṣùgbọ́n ṣe rówó gbà. At the end of the day ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ̀ kú nìsín ẹ wà lákòlò ọlọ́pàá. Láti bẹ̀ mo ọ̀rẹ́ yé mi pé ń gba béèlì irú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀. Ta lẹ tiẹ̀ fẹ́ gba béèlì against Adébáyọ̀ Adélábù? Tọmọ owó èsùwò tọmọ ara ní society, tọmọ òfin tọ lẹ́sẹ̀ ńlẹ̀. Ibẹ̀ ńlẹ́ gbàdẹ́ ẹ̀wọ̀n lẹ́tì mú gàrí yín fọ́jọ́ gbọ́ọ̀rọ̀. Broke tó wá broke ṣé solution tí wá wà báyìí? Ìwọ ọ̀rẹ́ mi tí wọ́n náà ń ronú àti ṣe bí wọ́n náà ń ronú àti lọ bọ́yọ̀ fẹ́ lọ fèrèndé ọ̀kìn kọ́ lọ kẹ́ni ẹlẹ́ni mọ́lé sọ ọmọdún tẹ́yìn tó fẹ́ lọ kámọ́lé nílé tí ó fi resist ẹ tó fi jẹ́ pé òun lọ́wọ́ fọkàn sí wọ́n fẹ́ lọ dáná yá o ní ọ̀dáná yá o ẹlòmíì fẹ́ wọnú ilé onílé kó tó bẹ́lẹ̀ látòrí fẹ́ǹsì wọn ti fìbọn dá lóhùn. ọjọ́ lọ ní pé wọn ò jẹ́ kílẹ̀ ọmọ bá wọn palẹ̀ wèrè mọ́ bíi kan lọ sọ́sódò kọ́ bá bì kan lọ ti bálẹ̀ ayé tiẹ̀ lọ́nu. bọ́n bá jẹ́ méjì tán jọ débẹ̀ tójó nìkan lọ wọlé ẹnìyàn ó ti mọ̀ wípé bẹ́ẹ̀ ló ń ti pàdánù ẹ̀mí tiẹ̀ pé akọni lọ pé inú ilé ń le. báwọn mi bá wá lọ́jọ́ mi ò ní ọmọ ròyìn fún wọn pé ẹja fi lè bẹ̀yẹn lẹ̀ járe ẹja wá bòmí lọ ṣe gbọ́ àìjẹ́ ń jẹ́wọ́ fún yìí o pàdí wa kan ní ìdúntà bẹ̀yẹn ló ti lọ́ọ̀sì ẹ o ọlọ́run orí lókè mi gan yọ o bó ṣe gun fẹ́ǹsì báyìí mi náà fẹ́ tẹ̀lé ni o bá jiná tù dáhùn lára wèrè ọlọ́run wọn ò járòkọ ẹ̀ gbé o wàláì wèrè làwọn tó wà nù ilé yẹn kílẹ̀ wo tó mọ ọlọ́run wọn ti ẹ̀ pariwo anybody ò ti ẹ̀ gbọ́ nǹkan kan ọlọ́run ṣé wọn á jẹ́ ká lọ síbẹ̀ o security bẹ̀ yẹn táìtì gan olórí burúkú lẹ́ni tó ní ilé yẹn o kò gbàgbó ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ èèyàn ló ti pàdánù ẹ̀mí wọn bẹ́ẹ̀ tára lé wọn rò pé wọ́n jí wọn gbé wọn à ní mọ̀ pọ́ ọmọ wọn lọ sóko olè o ti bọ́ lé pàdé ṣòkò tó plan ìwà búburú ro negative side of it plus it. So the reason he gave me was that he was broke. He asked me to join him also, pointing out that I was also broke and just driving without making much money. He promised to pay me well and I agreed to join him. Nta kọ́ńkà tó gbà ó ní díẹ̀ kan nínú tẹ́lẹ̀ ni tí wọ́n gan ọba jọ́ ọmọ líle because àwọn èèyàn kan wà tó jẹ́ pé kò sí nǹkan tí wọ́n lè ṣe fowó. ọjọ́ tẹ́nìkan ti fi ṣàwàdà lójú mi pé tó ń bá rí ìbọn wọn jalè ọjọ́ náà mo ti sá sẹ́yìn fún títí dòní gbèwọ́ yìí gan-an bójú bá po fírí ó jùlọ rẹ̀ gbé tàbí kó plan kan jiyàn gbé if you can do anything for money. So okay. He promised to pay me well, and I agreed to join him. My role was to drive the vehicle used for the kidnap operation. On Tuesday, June 2nd, he called and told me that the operation will be carried out on the following day. He described the spot where I will join him along the expressway at Soka area. After we met on Wednesday, we left for Podo area. Ṣé Podo dẹ̀ ni àbí Podo? Àbí Podo, àbí Podo. We left for Challenge. We were 4 in the operational vehicle. Oloro, Solution, Kelechi, and me. I was the driver, while 3 others were masked. And àwọn bojú, àwọn ọmọ ọ̀daràn. We parked the car for about 20 minutes, waiting for the car conveying the children to school to pass by. Oloro had thought that the driver would be the one with the children. The twins were his target to collect ransom. As Oloro saw the targeted car, he asked me to follow it, then directed me to swerve and block it at the front. He and 2 others got down and bundled the mother and the children into our operational car. I drove the car to Ayegun, got down, and left others. My heart was pumping hard. Inwardly, I was so afraid. Since that day till now, I have been unable to eat. I have been drinking water only. Ilé ayé ń tílé ayé ẹ̀jẹ̀ mọ́nu. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, ẹ ń bá rìnrìn àkàsùn wọ́n pọ́npọ́n ẹ̀kọ́. Àìsí ìpínkọ ọmọdé ọmọdé tẹ̀. Bó bá ti lóun lè dánú gbógbé, ó lè dánú gbógbé lọ́jọ́ tẹ̀lé wọn. Ọ̀kan gbá ojú tiẹ̀ náà ojú kòkòrò, ńlọ tẹ̀lé ọ lọ. Ntójú rẹ̀ sì ń rí ń bẹ̀ nísìnyí, ìwọ lọ́mọ̀ràn. On Thursday, I was called by a police officer and a member of our transport union. I was told to enter police vehicle. There, I was told that they were searching for Oloro. My heart fluttered, but I also knew he had other issues. So I suggested we called him. We did, but he didn't pick the calls. Later, he sent me a voice note, and the police took the phone from me. They had other voice notes in which Oloro complained to me about the person he wanted to buy a gun from, but who took the money without giving him the gun. That was how the police officer said I knew about gun purchased by Oloro. I was arrested. After which the police got to know about my involvement in the kidnapping on Saturday when Oloro was captured. During the operation, 3 of us, Oloro, Kelechi, and I used mask solution náà sọ sáìdì tiẹ̀ náà. Ẹ má bínú sọ̀rọ̀ mi ọ̀pọ̀ kó lè wà on record ni o. Ẹ má bínú ẹ foríjì mi o. It's a very very vital information and majority èèyàn lè má bá pàdé. Wọ́n jiyàn gbé, wọ́n jẹ́ àbúrò Adelabu gbé, la gbọ́ bó wọ́n ṣe jí gbé. Èmi gbọ́dọ̀ ṣèwádìí síwájú àti síwájú sí. I want to know bó wọ́n ṣe jí wọn gbé, bó wọ́n ṣe rescue wọn, bó wọ́n ṣe mọ̀ pé wọ́n wà ń bẹ̀. Wọ́n very very vital. God bless you. The second suspect, Solution, also told his own story. He said, and I quote, I'm age 43. I'm from Ishararema in Ogun State, but Ibadan based. I'm a member of Odua People's Congress. Can you imagine? Ọmọ OPC ń jalè, ọmọ OPC ń jiyàn gbé, torí pé ó ti lájẹ ara níwọ̀nba. I trained in rewiring. I have a business named Solution Land Automobile Service. I got to know Oloro about a year ago. Oloro was initially a member of OPC, but was expelled after the kidnap case he had back then. No problem. I heard about him from OPC members. He later went to Lagos, but he used to come to Ibadan. I didn't know how he got my number. He called me and started interacting with me. He was a cab driver in Lagos, and whenever he needed money, he would call me and I would send him some amount. He came to Ibadan one day and asked me to meet him at Tollgate at Ibadan, end of Lagos Ibadan Expressway. He told me that he wanted to move around the city, asking if I could get him a vehicle for about a week. I told him I couldn't because the day was the first time I was seeing him face to face and the car with me was not mine. I was repairing the vehicle's gear that would need running for a week. However, I said I could go with him wherever he wanted to go. That was last year. Mo tó bá jẹ́ mọ́ kí n máa wà ọ́ káàkiri ọkọ̀ ọlọ́kọ̀ ni mo sì lè fi wà ọ́. Nígbà tí ìbọn jagbà lọ́wọ́ mi. He was using his Corolla car for the operation. He bought it at Igbagi area about 7 months ago. He informed me about joining his kidnap gang about 6 months ago. But what he asked me to do was to follow him in my own car. For example, if he was going to Iwo Road, he would ask me to wait at Oremeji area. After a while, he would ask me to make a U-turn. Sometimes, he would just call and tell me to join him at a popular point at Podo or Makola or another place. Whenever we return from the places, I will be wondering on the reason for the patrol. I knew 2 people with him then. One of them was TJ, who used to come to Ibadan from Lagos. Another one is a commercial motorcyclist at Akpata area of Ibadan. I believe he introduced the operation to me when those ones were no longer with him. He said he wanted to use my car, but when he saw it, he told me it was too small. He brought one Toyota Corolla belonging to Kelechi to my house at Podo area on Tuesday, June 2nd. There were 2 pump action guns in it. Àwọn méjì tó kọ́kọ́ rí tẹ́lẹ̀ yóò fi kíní yẹn lọ wọ́n. Àwọn eléyìí sọ pé bọ́ ibi kan sọ pé ibi tẹ́ fẹ́ lọ yẹn le o. Ibi tó ti tóbi lẹ ti fẹ́ mú kàn jẹun o. Àbúrò Adelabu bò ilé fámìlì Adelabu bò lẹ́sìn lọ sọ pé ẹ fẹ́ lọ kọlù. Sẹ́ẹ̀rù ilé ayé yín dáadáa tẹ́lẹ̀ ni. So ní ó jẹ́ káwọn lọ ohun tí ó sì lè lọ ló fi tẹ̀lé wọn. On Wednesday morning, Oloro came to my place in his own Toyota Corolla car. The key of the car brought to me the previous day was handed over to Alawaye. During the operation, 3 of us, Oloro, Kelechi and I, used masks. Alawaye did not use a mask because he sat in the car. Oloro gave me an axe to hold. He and Kelechi held 2 pump action guns. Oloro was the one who broke the side glass of the car, conveying our victims. He opened the door and told me to pick one of the children who sat in the front. Kelechi picked the second child. Oloro was the one who bundled the mother into the car. The person who was preparing food for the captives was Oloro's relative. He didn't follow us to the operation, but it was as if he was always invited to handle feeding of the victims. Whenever Oloro needed money, he would ask me to lend him. I didn't know how much was demanded as ransom because it was Oloro and Kelechi that used to go and collect it whenever they told the family of the victims to drop it. Wow! Wọ́n ti ń gbowó lọ́wọ́ wọn gan. So wọ́n ti ń gbowó lọ́wọ́ wọn tẹ́lẹ̀ wọ́n ti ń gba ransom. Before the last operation which I joined, he once gave me 300,000 naira for following him with my car. He gave me 200,000 naira at another time. Torí wọ́n fi ká tẹ̀lé lásán, wọ́n gba 300,000, wọ́n gba 200,000. Sálárì ẹnìkan lódidi oṣù kan nu o. Lọ ń gbà lẹ́ẹ̀kan torí pọ̀ kan fi mọ́tò tẹ̀lé yàn. Ó ti wá dùn mọ́wọ́ náà. No problem. How I was arrested on Thursday, the day after the operation, I called Oloro, but he didn't pick my calls. On Friday, it was the same thing. I was disturbed by that, but shrugged my shoulders and continued with my life. I was at home on Saturday, but later went to top one to relax. While there, I messaged him asking for the reason he was not picking my calls, but he didn't respond immediately. Later, he asked me where I was, and I told him. He said he would come to join me. That was when police arrived to arrest me. By then, Oloro had not told me the amount I would get as my share of the ransom when paid. I don't know how I got into such crime. I have a lucrative business. If God can save me from this, I will never venture near a crime again. Can you imagine that? Ó ti ní lucrative business tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀. Ó wá fẹ́ gbàgbẹ̀mù àrẹ̀mú lẹ́ẹ̀kan náà. Wọ́n lè má fẹ́ béèrè 50 million lọ́wọ́ Adelabu. Ẹ̀já buṣu yẹn lẹ́ẹ̀kan ṣoṣo. 50 million jọ́ ò la fi máa ná tán. Ẹ̀já béèrè nǹkan tó pọ̀ lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ wá gbé lẹ̀ o. Ìṣú wà lọ́wọ́ máa nìyẹn ó gbé dání gan ni o. Máa yẹ hòòrò máa yẹ hò ẹ̀ ó gbé dání o. Ẹ̀já béèrè lẹ́ẹ̀kan náà. Bí wàásù bá kè mí nínú ẹ̀, mi ìtúndé di jẹ́ àjínigbé mọ́ o láyé mi o. Kí n gbà yẹn kí n lọ mẹ̀lẹ́ńbẹ̀ ni o. Màá kó ń bàdàn pátápátá. Màá sá lọ ṣèkìtì àbí kí n máa lọ Jẹ̀bú jẹ́jẹ́. Wọn ò lé mi rẹ̀ mọ́. N bá délé báyìí wọ́n máa gbé mi gẹ̀gẹ̀ rìn. Ọlọ́run operation eléyìí ká ṣe kówó jáde ńbẹ̀ kí n máa bá tèmi lọ ni. Ọlọ́run. So ó wá ń gbàdúrà k'Ọlọ́run ó yọ ọ́ nínú ẹ̀. Bóò ni ó ṣe yọ ọ́ nínú iṣẹ́ ọ̀daràn tó gbójúlé tó gbájúmọ́. Getting Oloro for an interview was a difficult task. He has refused to talk since Sunday when the Commissioner of Police, Olugbenga Ayode Jabimbola, briefed journalists on how the victims were rescued and suspects arrested. With 2 of them neutralized, it was learned that not only that as Oloro refused to talk, he also shunned food and water and was soiling himself with urine and feces in the cell he was kept in. Okay? Wàhálà tó bá rí kó gbé rẹ̀ sí. Ìbá máa mọ̀ tọ̀kọ́ mọ́ fìgbẹ́ yíra wàhálà ilé ayé ti ẹ̀rìn yẹn. N tó yí àwa ni pé ó ṣe ọ̀ka ti fó, àṣírí ti tú, ẹ̀fọn ti fẹ́, afẹ́fẹ́ ti fẹ́, àti rí fùrọ̀ adìẹ, ọ̀ka rẹ̀ ti fó náà nìyẹn, ọwọ́ rẹ̀ ti bà náà nìyẹn, kó fèsì wárántì ẹ̀ ló kù. Ọlọ́run bó bá ti bà wọ́n báyọ̀ máa ń jẹ́ wọ́n máa ń kà bòròbòrò ní Olóró nìkan ló kọ̀ tí ò ká o. Àwọn ọlọ́pàá dẹ̀ lé mú kó kà tó bá wù wọ́n, wọn kò kàn wù wọ́n kàn jẹ́ kó sọ̀rọ̀ ni. Wọ́n á filẹ̀ kó sọ̀rọ̀ nígbà tó bá wù ú. Ǹkẹ́ kò jẹ́ kó mú mi ẹjọ́ máa gba àwẹ̀ rẹ̀ lọ wàhálà ilé ayé ti ẹ̀ nìyẹn. On Tuesday, Saturday Tribune learned that he was taken to hospital because of his condition, but he refused to respond to doctor's question to know the treatment he needed. Ẹ tún máa ń ṣe wàhálà o kí ló dé tẹ́ gbé lọ sọ́sibítù ẹ̀ ń tẹ́ fìbọn kó fọ́n kókósẹ̀ dandanu. Oloro was said to possess many charms recovered from him. The FIDIRT operative said the charms he possessed were so many that some were even found in his car. Ológun bí àrọ̀ ni. Ológun bí àrọ̀ ni. Okay, pápápá ẹ má jẹ́ n fàágùn. Past kidnap operations. Among the arrested suspects, Oloro had been known to be deep in criminal activities. On September 20, 2022, he was paraded by the Oyo State Police Command after his arrest, along with his kidnap gang leader, BJ, by the monitoring unit. At that time, The duo, with other suspects, carried out several kidnappings within Ibadan and Ogun State. In his confession, during an interview, in a story published in Saudi Tribune on September 24, 2022, Oloro confessed that before he was caught for kidnapping, he has once been arrested for snatching cars at gunpoint, which resulted in his being remanded in prison. But according to him, he secured freedom when he enjoyed what he called prerogative of mercy, which he claimed was bestowed on him by the judiciary. So judiciary ò rí ẹni tí wọ́n kàn ṣèṣì rán lẹ́wọ̀n kí wọ́n dálẹ̀. Ẹni tó ti jíyàn gbé tó ti fìbọn gba mọ́tò lọ́wọ́ èèyàn ni wọ́n fún clemency, ni wọ́n fún ní pardon, ni wọ́n fún mercy, ni wọ́n yọ̀ǹda pé kó máa lọ lálàáfíà. Ó sì wá róore ọ̀fẹ́ gbànú. Ó jẹ́wọ́ pọ̀ mọ́ ilé polo òun fẹ́ rèé tún ìgò òun fọ̀. Ló tún ṣe mú wọ̀ ọ̀daràn ní pálí. No second chance. Ọlọ́mọ ń fáwọn èèyàn kan second chance. Wọ́n ó tún sí lò ní. Lọ́lọ́wọ́ wà mú wọn tán. Ní ọ màjá lè gbòó mú lórí. Níbi táwọn ẹ̀ ò ti ní lè la. Gẹ́gẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni tọ̀dọ̀ rẹ̀. Kí gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì ó tún fún clemency, kan tún fún ní pardon, kan tún pardon ẹ̀ pé kó máa lọ. After his arraignment for the kidnap, Oloro, who claimed to be a Muslim, an Ogun worshipper, Mùsùlùmí ni ó tún ń bọ Ògún, and another suspect, alleged, were remanded in prison as the matter of being heard in court. However, it was learned that alleged was released on bail on April 26, 2024 because of a contagious disease he had. Ètò ìyàbá ní contagious disease. Okay, kọ́mọ́ bá kúnrẹ́ lómi àbí? Ọ̀dà àwọn release ẹ̀. Why it is yet unclear the reason Oloro secured a bail also. However, allegedly returned to kidnapping less than a month after he was granted bail. As he carried out an operation on Monday 16, 2024, alleged continued until he was arrested by the anti-kidnapping squad in Ogun State. A credible source confirmed to Saudi Tribune that alleged is still in prison in Abeokuta. God bless you, sir. God bless you, ma. Bí wọ́n ṣe jí àbúrò Adelabu àtàwọn ìbejì ẹ̀ gbé lélẹ́yìí. Sorry o. Àkáǹtì ẹnìkọ̀ọ̀kan wọn náà láti jọ gbọ́ yìí. Ta ni ń bá ń ṣiṣẹ́ nínú ilé yín? Àwọn olẹ́jọ́ ń lọ tẹ́jọ́ ń bọ̀. Ta lè gbà gẹ́gẹ́ bí personal assistant? Ta ni security yín? Ta ni gate man? Ta ni ń bá yín dáná oúnjẹ? Ta ni ń bá yín fọṣọ? Ta ni ń bá yín túnú ọgbà ṣe? Do you know their heart? Do you trust them? Trust nobody. Be very, very careful with anybody.